Well, we're about to get into it today. Hello, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. My name is ISAIAH-ZAVԻON. Today we're going to talk about something that some of you have a problem with. Something that some of you need to work on. Racial preferences in dating. And I really want to get specific about who I'm talking about. I am especially talking about racial preferences among gay white men. And preferences based off of race, color, and features in the gay community. Let's dive in, shall we?
You never dated a chocolate bitch. You want a model bitch out for the internet. All that kiki and I ain't into that. All my mini-me's, I invented that back.
All right, I wrote here, just as building blocks, we're gonna build. Today we're gonna build. We're gonna build, right? Racial preferences in dating refers to a tendency refers to the action of individuals being more attracted to people of a certain race or ethnic background over others when seeking romantic or sexual partners. The preference is based solely on race and is not influenced, right, by individual personality, interests, or compatibility. Racial preferences do perpetuate harmful stereotypes about certain racial or ethnic groups, reducing them to just simplistic or inaccurate portrayals. Right. Oh, we're about to get into this, right? Let's talk a little bit about colonialism and imperialism and racial hierarchies. Throughout history, we have seen the deliberate discrimination against bodies of color. And for the white gay male body, a white gay male wanting to be with another white gay male is a very destructive force. Girl, you're kind of in getting up in my face. I'm gonna move you. And we're gonna get into that later, right? Really deep dive. But for a white male to want to be with another white male romantically is a very destructive force in a truly evil world. We don't live in that world, and that gives me hope. But for right now, we're gonna talk about this, right? Racial preferences I've experienced, of course. When you are into someone and they're not into you, and their body happens to be white, especially white liberals who claim that they're doing the work, sure. The reason why a lot of white people are not into black people romantically, sexually, or even platonically is because by our very nature as black people within these beautiful black bodies, we revolt against whiteness. Everything about us is the revolt. Without even trying, when I wake up and walk out into the world, it's a protest. That's what a lot of people get wrong, right? You don't have to go to all these marches and all of these. You're marching every day because you're existing, you're breathing, you're smiling. In the face of all of the adversity, in the face of all the obstacles, you wake up every single day and decide and choose happiness. The reason why a lot of white people do not want to be with black people or bodies of color is because these bodies of color directly oppose whiteness and everything that comes with that. A friend of mine, me and him, were talking about what it means to live a life without the shadow of whiteness, right? If I walk outside right now and I live a life without the shadow of whiteness, what does that even look like? Does that look like me blasting music on my backpack? Maybe. Not saying that black people are innately loud, but black people are innately celebratory. There's a celebration. There's a joy within us in the struggle, of course, right? In the context of dating, white privilege can manifest itself as a preference for white people due to the societal elevation of whiteness as the normal standard of beauty. So let's break this down, right? It may not even be that a white person only wants to be with another white person. It may be that because of all of the indoctrination we've been given over centuries upon centuries upon centuries, and even now in media, when you see an advertisement, we're starting to see more black bodies appear, more bodies of color appear. But when I was little, I saw advertisements for Nickelodeon. But when I was little, I saw advertisements for Nickelodeon or Disney. I only saw white bodies, and I thought, am I wrong? Am I wrong for being brown, for being black, for being me? Like, what's what's going on here, right? So a white person may choose another white person because society has told them that that white person is deemed as beautiful. And I want to be with someone who's attractive. I want to be with someone who's deemed as beautiful or hot or sexy or sensual. I want to be with someone who has privilege. And for a white person to choose another white person in dating, they're choosing to keep their level of privilege. They're choosing to stay there. They don't want to move, right? I don't think a lot of white people go this deep or think or consider because they never had to. White people don't necessarily have to consider the fact that they're not choosing a body of color, right? It's just, oh, this is my girlfriend, this is my boyfriend, this is my partner. And a lot of the times I wrote here, white gay men across the spectrum prefer white gay men because they're so used to assimilating to white structural systematic forces of power. And to be with any other race is to give up what they've always known, which is whiteness. Hey! Oh! Hallelujah! Ah! Wow, felt that. I wrote it like this. Imagine a buffet. All sorts of beautiful dishes, all sorts of amazing food, right? Across the board, right? Each dish represents a unique individual in their own personalities, interests, qualities, etc. But certain people only choose dishes based on the color of the plate. So all these plates have the same dish, same exact dish, but they only choose a certain dish based off of the color of the plate without even considering the actual taste of the food. Or you have all these plates with different dishes, but you will only choose the dishes that are on a white plate. Not even caring if that food looked bland and dry. No, not even considering that fact. Just, it's white, I want it. And there is history to this. Miscegenation laws, there's history to this. Jim Crow, there's history to this, right? Separating black bodies from white bodies, any color body from white bodies. You know, there's white and there's everyone else. And that is why we're in the situation we're in now. Racial preferences in dating is racism, period. And I'm gonna get into later why racial preferences for bodies of color are also a little messed up, you know what I'm saying? Racial preference for only the white body in dating across any gender spectrum, across any sexual spectrum, across any sexuality spectrum is racism. I prefer this race over anyone else without considering their interests, their flaws, their desires, their wants, their needs, and their goals, but simply based off of the fact that they are white, have privilege, and are at a certain status level that you want to be at as well. You are not choosing the person, you're choosing the status. You're not choosing the person, you're choosing the privilege. This life is a game, and the closer you are to a straight, white, Christian, able-bodied male, the list goes on, rich, right? The list goes on. The closer you are to that, the easier the game gets. The game is never very, very easy unless you're like the child of a multi-billionaire or millionaire. The game is never straight up easy. That's not this life. Once again, your house burned down, right? That's horrible. And you're white, right? So there may be structures in power to help you rather than a person of color whose house burned down in a certain low-income neighborhood and it won't be rebuilt, etc. See what I'm saying? And let's also, this whole idea that people say, but just to discriminate someone on the color of their skin is so, because no, people of color are not just darker-skinned white people. Black people are not just darker-skinned white people. And that is what I think a lot of white people try to view it as subconsciously, is they're no different than me, they're just darker. No, baby. You cannot take Timothée Chalamet and give him Viola Davis's skin complexion and tone without completely reshaping the way his nose, his lips, his jaw, his forehead, his entire face, his entire body, his hair, everything has to change because it is not just about the color of a person's skin. It is about features. It is about how you physically look, right? Race is not just color. Race is everything. And that's where colorism and featureism comes in. Because a lot of the times, people who deem certain features to be desirable, deem certain features to be that they want, comes from a very Eurocentric standard of beauty, right? There is no conventionally attractive as a black person, right? Maybe in certain spaces, yes. But even within those spaces, a lot of times in the black community, I'm sure other communities, the whiter you look, the better you're treated. You have a smaller nose, lighter eyes, straighter hair, lighter skin, etc. But this is why this conversation is so complex. Because if you're going to discriminate against me because of not only the color of my skin, but the context of my culture and my features, you didn't deserve me in the first place. So why am I fighting for your love? Well, I know why. Because in our world, to have the love of a white man is to have the world. I'm going to sit back real quick and get kind of ghetto with this just for a second. But to have the love of a white man in our world is to have the world. You got it all. A white man told you you're beautiful. And now, once again, these analogies, because I have to break this down for you so you can understand what I'm saying. Imagine you have a princess. The princess has been deemed and kept in a castle protected from everything in the entire world. She has been deemed as the most beautiful being on planet Earth. No one's ever seen her. No one's come in contact with her. She needs to be rescued. You slay the dragon. You go rescue the princess. You get to the top. The princess is a long, blonde-haired white woman, beautiful silk dress on. And she looks at you, and you look at her and you say, oh my God, you are so beautiful, because of what everyone has told you. And she looks at you and says, oh my God, you are the most beautiful being I've ever seen. The entire world has told you that she is the standard and the pinnacle and the precedent of beauty. And she just told you that you're beautiful. Oh my God, I'm on cloud 9. I'm on cloud 9. To have the love of a white man, to have the validation of white people and white culture is to have the world, seemingly. And it's so disgusting because we look for it in everything. We make ourselves smaller. We deaden ourselves and belittle and denigrate ourselves and go on these extravagant diet weight loss journeys, because the less and less marks you can have against you in the world, the closer and closer to whiteness you are. Let's take a fat black woman. You're a woman. You got the W and the O in front. That's the closest you're gonna get to being a man, right? The W and the O. Whoa, man. You're fat, right? Eurocentric white culture has already told us that being fat is not okay, that being bigger is not okay, right? That having curves is not okay. You should be thin, petite, slim, pure, and you're black. There are a few things you can change there to try and assimilate to whiteness. You could bleach your skin. You could get multiple surgeries to try to make yourself look white. That's very drastic. That's the thing about whiteness. It's not just the color, it's not just features, it's an attitude. And your whiteness is determined by your proximity to blackness. You can lose weight, which there's nothing wrong with being bigger. There is something wrong with being unhealthy. And if you need to go on that journey to get fat off of your body, please take care of yourself. So you've lost the weight now. You're a skinny black woman. You're closer to whiteness because now white people may desire you. Oh my God, look at you. You lost all that weight. You look so good. You could transition if, right, you do have body dysmorphia. If you indeed have the divine innate connection, right, to divine masculinity and need to absolutely transition to get out of the body that you were in, that you feel trapped in, please transition. Do the work that you need to do for yourself. So now you are a trans black, skinny male. Now you got another mark up against you because you're trans. But if you pass enough, you ain't gotta tell nobody. You done got all the surgeries, you done everything that you could, right? So you're a skinny, athletic black male. And the last thing you wanna do is change the color of your skin. If I woke up tomorrow and I was white, I cannot lie. I'm gonna be honest, this is gonna get real controversial. If I woke up tomorrow and I was white, not like white, like blonde hair, feature, everything is changed, and I resemble a conventional, straight, white-teethed masculine, athletic white male whose armpits kind of stank because he don't take enough showers, I put on some deodorant first, whatever. But I can't lie and say that there wouldn't be a part of me that wouldn't celebrate. I can't lie. I have to be honest. If I woke up tomorrow as a skinny, conventionally attractive, rich, privileged, white, cis, not heterosexual, male. That's the one I can't do that one. I can't do that one. If I woke up tomorrow as that, right, I cannot lie and say that there isn't a part of me that would not celebrate a little bit. I truly love my blackness, not as a revolt against whiteness. I love being black because I love being black, right? I love being able to do all the things that I do and connect with the people that I do connect with because I'm black. I think I have maybe three like close white friends. That's it. Everybody else is black. Everybody else is black. Everybody else is black. Everybody else is black. Black or like black and a little bit of something else, but black. I think everybody else is that, right? And that's real. That's real. And it's not that I would celebrate, like, I'm beautiful now. No. I would celebrate and say the mental, emotional, physical exhaustion is over. Now, I have to deal with all this white male rage inside of me. I got to deal with all this, everything else that's going on. But when I walk out into the street, I don't have to consider anyone. I can go jump on a light pole. I can go swing off of a tree. I can go do whatever. I can go rob a bank, maybe, I don't know. Because I'm a white male, and that is the greatest superpower. Boy, I'm a white male. I succeeded. Growing up, people in my family told me that I sounded like a white male. Like, you talk like a white male, why you do that? Or you talk like you white, or you sound white, or like you sound really, like, proper. I knew what they meant, of course. And it's an everyday battle and fight to look in the mirror and believe that you're beautiful. Because I am the promise of my African ancestors, right? I am what they wanted. But in this evil and cruel world, through colonial and imperial history, it shaped what we think now. Let's talk about racial fetishization, which is just another, like, once again, objectifying, reducing individuals to stereotypes. That's all it is, right? We do not give people the opportunity or chance. The closer they are to whiteness, the more white people, or the more people in general, appreciate them, right? You look at a black man, a gay black man, or a straight black man, or whoever, and you say, oh, he's masculine. Oh, he's probably aggressive in bed. Oh, he has a BBC. You get black women, oh, she's sassy. She's sensual. The sex gonna be good. You reduce, now not saying that these people are not masculine, not sensual, not sexy, because we have seen a rise in black women owning their sensuality and sexuality in a beautiful way, right? But the problem is when you reduce these people to just that. Andre might like vintage clothing. Shadeja might like thrifting, you know? Kamaje might like anime. You know what I'm saying? So like all of these things that we attribute to the black body versus what you actually experience, two different things. Racial fetishization also comes from colonialism and imperialism, right? When you see the black body, what do you see? Like, what? I hope this is getting through to you. Like, when you see the black body, what do you see truly? Let's also talk about porn. Let's talk about porn. Pornography has also helped to... pornography has also aided in racial fetishization. People have their fantasies, and their fantasies, they want them to come alive, right? The amount of times I've heard men say things like they want to tie me up, they want to put shackles on me, or they want rope, or they want me to be subservient to them in the bedroom. I did not engage with them. Once again, what do you believe to be true about the black body? What's the foundation you're coming at this with? And when you are not exposed to people of different cultures, heritages, rituals, customs, traditions, and backgrounds, of course you're going to look at a body, a Latino body, an Asian body, an Indigenous American body, and you're going to be like, I don't want that. Because all you've ever known is whiteness, right? There's so much, man. I want to talk about hypersexualization a little bit. Specifically of the gay black male body. Now this goes deep. Black men were raped and buck broke in front of their families, made to be subservient and serve the white male body. Were raped by white straight men who did not do those acts for sexual pleasure, but did those acts to belittle and dehumanize these black bodies, make these black bodies seem like they're an item or a tool to be used. That heightens sexual ideology, and people, white men especially sometimes, are definitely known in the bedroom to be maybe a little more aggressive, like they like to take things out in the bedroom. The black body has been more and more hypersexualized to the point to where you do not see a human. You see an idea that you have about a body, and you want that experience. I'm about to get ghetto again. I gotta sit back again. And you want that experience, right? You want that, you want that power over a body, over a black body. This goes deep. This is a lot. And this is a big one, right? This all just goes back to racial preferences, because being in a black body, I see it, and these two things I'm about to say do juxtapose themselves, but being in a black body means defying the confines of divine masculinity and divine femininity. Even though we live in a world where the black American community is is very set on conforming and assimilating to white Eurocentric ideology of sex and gender, even though the Oxford Dictionary will define sex and gender as two different things. Please read your dictionary and go do some research before I have to pop on you. Racial bias leads to misconceptions about masculinity and femininity within the black gay community, right? And assuming that black gay men are inherently more masculine or aggressive, or black gay women are more masculine or aggressive. And a gay white man will not get with a black, okay, let me not speak for all. A lot of gay white men will not get with gay black men, especially if they are more effeminate. Femphobia is real, y'all. Because, let me break this down, oh, shoot. Effeminate black gay men remind white men, period, any sexuality, of black women. And historically, and even now, white men don't like black women. Gay white men, especially, don't really like black women. Because black women remind gay white men that all of the slang that gay white men have taken and infused into the gay community comes from black women, queer black women, straight black women. I saw a banner here in Chicago a while ago about Pride and about Stonewall, and it was a bunch of shirtless, white, conventionally attractive, athletic male bodies. And I thought, how absolutely disgusting to completely remove an entire group of people because you don't find them attractive. Now, I want to get into this bag, right? People of color completely denying white people of the opportunity to touch them. I love this one. This is going to be backwards, but I really don't care. The difference between a white person choosing a white person solely and any other body of color choosing any other body of color is because white people choose white people as a direct rebellion against choosing anything else. And white people choose white people because they don't even have to consider anyone else. People of color choose people of color because we get it. Okay. I might not understand someone of Asian descent struggle exactly, but if I would get with another black person, there's no explaining to do. It's just like the way she looked at you. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. White people choose white people because there's a level of comfort in it. And a white person may find a white person who is truly their soulmate, and it has nothing to do with a direct rebellion against anyone else of color. And that in itself, right, comments on and provides commentary on the way our world works. Oh, we're about to get into this. Class plays a huge, it is a huge factor in this. Because a lot of people of color do live in lower income communities and a lot of non-people of color do not. Put two and two together. You never have to meet a person of color if you didn't want to. Ever. You don't have to interact with them if you didn't want to. Ever. And this is the idea I said I'm going to circle back to, which is going to be a little bit controversial, but I'm going to break it down for you. In a truly evil world, two white men being together would be the most wicked faces of power, point blank, period. Why? Because if homosexuality were not so denigrated and belittled in our world, if we think about every other system of power, platonic relationships, family relationships, co-worker relationships, business partnerships, and we think about who belongs in those places of power and who we normally see in those places of power, we view and see white people in those places of power. So in a truly evil world, right, white people, especially higher class white people, the top multi-billion-dollar Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, who's not in that position anymore, Mark Zuckerberg, you take all of that power, all of that privilege, all of that status, and you put it into a romantic relationship and claim that to be the most dominant, the pinnacle, and the precedent of love. That is truly evil. Imagine Elon Musk and Bill Gates. Okay, I don't want to imagine that. I do not want to imagine. But imagine the level of power between two masculine dudes like a Ryan Reynolds and a Chris Pratt. If that, right? In a truly, if this were a truly evil world, I think that is the face of power. Because white men love being friends with other white dudes, love going out to coffee, love to do business, love to do whatever. And now they're taking it to romance. Two white dudes being together is the face of love. At least in this world, the face of love is heterosexuality. A white man and a white woman, and there's an innate power imbalance which leaves room. There is an innate power imbalance which leaves room for change. And also, you know, non-white people are not exempt from prizing whiteness, right? It can be really difficult when it seems like everyone around you only wants to be with other white people, white twinks, white skinny white people. But that's when we have to prize ourselves, making sure I covered what I wanted to cover. All in all, I'm saying racial preference in dating, in sexual interest, hypersexualization of any race, fetishization of any race, racism against any race, prejudice against any race in dating is racism, because you're only looking at the plate and never the dish. Well, this has been a very long video. I'm trying to make sure I covered everything I wanted to cover. But this comes from just watching people, observing how people completely ignore an entire race because they just never found them attractive. Why? What do you find attractive? And before white people, you decide to get with a person of color. It's not just the color of their skin, it's everything. And being with a person of color comes being with a regal, powerful force of nature, comes with being with an inspiring and creative entity that for so many centuries has been belittled and denigrated, comes with reshaping the way we live our lives. And if you really truly love them, not the features, not the skin, not the color, not the tone, but them, you'll be willing to go through it. And for people of color, we have to work on not prioritizing and prizing whiteness. Because what's there to prioritize? What's there to prize? We've been told by a world that that is beautiful, but that doesn't mean it innately is. But it takes work, consistent work. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be with a white person, right? There's nothing wrong with wanting to be with a person of color. It's about the why behind it all, as I always say. Why do you want to be with that person of color? Why do you want to be with that white person? Do you want to be with them, or do you want to be with their status? Thank you very much for joining me. Please take care of yourself. This was a lot, and is going to be a lot to take in. But I'm sending you much love and joy. Please continue to do the work on yourself. As I say, take care, and to take care.